So imagine you want to invest in real estate, right? But you also want to do something that actually helps your community.
Right, which is usually where people get stuck.
Exactly. You assume that balancing doing good with, making a sound investment means you have to be deeply personally involved in your tenants' daily lives. Like you have to sacrifice all your free time and take on this mountain of stress.
Yeah, and that assumption is, well, it's exactly what keeps so many potential investors just sitting on the sidelines. We're totally conditioned to believe that uh, profit and social purpose just can't exist in the same space, or that it's just too much work.
Right. Which is the entire mission of our deep dive today. We are unraveling this massive misconception in the real estate and care world, specifically looking at the difference between special needs housing and assisted living facilities.
Yeah, because they are not the same thing. And this actually fits perfectly into our ongoing series, Special Needs Housing versus Assisted Living Facilities, the difference in each state.
And today, our spotlight is firmly on Nebraska. So to really understand this landscape, we're pulling insights directly from the expertise of Robert Flowers.
He's an award-winning real estate investor.
Yeah, with over 15 years of experience. So his work is basically a shortcut for us. It helps you understand a system that, honestly, usually takes investors years of trial and error to figure out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the confusion almost always starts with the terminology itself. People hear phrases like supportive housing or assisted living, and they just lump them all together.
Like it's just one big generic category of places where vulnerable people get help.
Right, exactly. But legally and operationally, I mean, they share almost nothing in common.
So before we get into the alternative models, let's establish the baseline. Let's look at the model most people have actually heard of, which is assisted living.
Yeah, the heavy lifter. So in Nebraska, assisted living is not just some marketing term. It is a very strict, highly regulated legal definition. It's overseen by the Department of Health and Human Services, or DHHS.
Okay, so what does that actually entail on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it's specifically for adults who need housing and meals, but also supervision and active help with what they call activities of daily living, ADLs.
So we're talking about like bathing, dressing, medication management.
Mobility assistance, yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
It's hands-on, continuous life support.
Wow. Okay, so it's a lot more than just renting a room.
Oh, totally.
Yep.
And the state of Nebraska has a very hard rule here. It's a factual DHHS regulation. Anyone providing care for 4 or more residents for 24 hours or more absolutely must be licensed as an assisted living facility.
Wait, just 4? 4 residents.
That's 4. That's the threshold.
That is an incredibly low barrier.
All
I mean,
right.
you can't just buy a big house, rent it to 5 elderly people, and hire a visiting nurse on the side.
No, you would be shut down so fast. The moment you cross that line of providing the housing and the care for that many people, you're not just operating real estate anymore.
You're running a healthcare facility. It kind of sounds like trying to run a boutique hotel and a mini hospital at the exact same time.
That is the perfect analogy. You are responsible for everything.
Right. You aren't just a landlord collecting rent on the first of the month. You're dealing with staffing shift schedules, food service that meets commercial health codes, state inspections, patient rights.
Specialized medical liability insurance.
Yeah.
The barrier to entry is just astronomically high. I mean, think about the startup costs to bring a normal building up to commercial care codes.
Like industrial kitchens and commercial sprinklers.
Exactly. ADA-compliant medical bathing facilities. It's a massive upfront investment. And to be clear, it's an incredibly meaningful and profitable business if you can do it.
But the takeaway is that with assisted living, you're completely responsible for both the physical real estate and the continuous daily care of the people inside.
Right. Which naturally leads to the big question. What if a real estate investor wants to help vulnerable populations in Nebraska, but they have zero desire to become a healthcare administrator?
Yeah, I don't want to run a commercial kitchen.
Exactly. And that leads to the real aha moment of today's deep dive. Special needs housing.
Okay, so let's define the scope of special needs housing, because it's actually a much broader model than just elder care, right?
Huge. It serves veterans, individuals with developmental or physical disabilities, people facing mental health challenges, also folks in substance recovery or reentry programs.
So a really wide range of people who just face barriers to normal housing. But what is the core difference here? Like, why is this the aha moment?
The fundamental difference is the absolute separation of housing and care.
Okay, break that down.
In special needs housing, the property owner only provides the safe, clean, affordable real estate. That's it. The actual care, the therapy, the daily support, life skills training that is provided entirely by outside agencies.
Like nonprofits and case managers?
Exactly.
Okay, wait, hold on. I've got to push back on this on behalf of anyone listening who's actually been a landlord.
Sure, go for it.
If I am just providing the building and I'm not providing the care, aren't I just a regular landlord? Like, how does this actually solve the housing crisis for these populations if I am totally hands-off with what they actually need day to day?
That's a great question. But hands-off doesn't mean you're just abandoning them in an empty house. It's all about the power of partnerships
Partnerships with who?
with the entities providing the care. So you provide the vital canvas, basically the home, and the state or the nonprofits, they make the picture, which is the care.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah, and in Nebraska specifically, DHHS offers these Medicaid HCBS waivers. That stands for Home and Community-Based Services. These waivers are for developmental disabilities, and they have separate aged and disabled waivers for in-home care.
So the still is actively funding the care part.
Right. And then you also partner with HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. They provide public housing and housing choice vouchers.
Oh, I see. So the landlord isn't doing it alone. The state pays for the care workers to come to the house, HUD helps pay for the rent, and the landlord just provides the physical space.
Exactly. No medical licensing, no care staff on your payroll. Which means investors can often just use standard single-family homes, duplexes, or small multifamily properties.
Which makes it a drastically lower cost to start. You bypass all the commercial retrofitting and healthcare licensing.
Yeah, it's a game changer. But obviously, actually executing this model and stabilizing that income, it takes some know-how.
Right, because you still have to put the pieces together on the ground in Nebraska. And the need is everywhere, right? It's not just an Omaha thing.
Oh, no. I mean, the sources call out a desperate need for this affordable, supportive housing in Omaha and Lincoln Shore, but also places like Grand Island, Bellevue, Kearney.
Fremont, Norfolk, Hastings. It's a statewide issue.
It really is. But here's the thing. Navigating local zoning laws, understanding fair housing regulations, putting together the right lease agreements, it can be incredibly tricky.
Especially coordinating with nonprofit partnerships. If you do it wrong, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble with local zoning boards.
Oh, easily. Which is why having the right partners to guide you is crucial. You shouldn't try to reinvent the wheel.
And that actually perfectly brings us to the sponsor of today's deep dive, Flowers and Associates Property Rentals.
Yeah, they are the exact kind of partner we're talking about.
Exactly. Because Flowers and Associates specialize specifically in helping landlords stabilize their rental income by navigating these exact types of agency relationships.
They're A+ BBB accredited, and their work has even been featured in Who's Who. They know this space inside and out.
So if you're listening to this and realizing you want to provide the real estate for community care, you don't have to guess how to structure a master lease. You can literally just tap into their expertise. You can reach them directly at 901-621-3544.
And when you call, definitely ask to speak directly to Robert Flowers.
Yes, 901-621-3544. Ask for Robert Flowers. But also, if you want to dive even deeper into executing this entire model, you really need to check out his book.
Oh, the book is fantastic. It's basically a blueprint.
It really is. The title is The Joy of Helping Others, Creating Passive Income Streams Through Special Needs Housing. I'll say that again. The Joy of Helping Others, Creating Passive Income Streams Through Special Needs Housing.
Yeah, that book will give you the exact guidance you need for stabilizing rental income. It walks you through the whole process.
Because at the end of the day, stabilization is the goal, right? For both the investor and the tenant.
Exactly. So let's kind of summarize the journey we've taken today.
Yeah, let's synthesize this because we've looked at two very distinct paths.
Right. If you want to operate a fully licensed care business, manage medical staff, and deal with commercial food service, assisted living is the path. It's highly regulated, but incredibly important.
But on the other hand, if you want to generate dependable rental income while letting established professional agencies handle all the actual care, special needs housing is your practical entry point.
You provide the safe home, they provide the support.
And that really brings us to why this matters so much. When you do this correctly, it is not just about collecting rent.
No, not at all. It's about serving families. It's about giving adults with disabilities or people who just face massive barriers to housing a place to live with actual dignity.
Dignity, yeah. Having a front door that looks like every other front door on the street. Which actually leaves me with a final kind of provocative thought for you to ponder on your own after we wrap up today.
Oh, what's that?
Well, think about it. If the special needs housing model successfully decentralizes care, meaning it allows vulnerable people to live in standard homes with visiting support, rather than being placed in these large facilities, could this partnership model eventually replace traditional institutional care altogether?
Wow, that's a huge shift to imagine.
Right. Imagine a future where massive care facilities are just a thing of the past, and integrated community housing is just the norm for everyone.
It completely changes how we think about urban planning and neighborhood dynamics.
Exactly. What would your own neighborhood look like if that shift actually happened? What if the house next door to you was quietly providing life-changing support and you didn't even know it because it just looks like a normal home? It's definitely something to think about.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you next time.